Hey, everybody! Welcome for joining me this evening, and thank you for hopping on the show if you guys are watching. For those of you who are unfamiliar with me, and you might be seeing me all of a sudden popping up on something a little extra today, I am going live for the first time this evening on LinkedIn. So I've been pushing for this for quite a while, trying to get on LinkedIn, and guess what? I came home today, um, was checking to see if I got a stimulus check, which I didn't, but I did get another gift, which is just as awesome. Um, I am now able to go live on LinkedIn. So I set up the destination, and hopefully, people that are watching can actually see it and see that I am live. So, thank you guys for hopping on and following me on the show. So I'm pretty pumped about that. This is pretty exciting. I've been working for this for a while, and I have to give a bit of a shout out to Michael Goldberg, because um, his advice it actually worked. He gave me a few tips about going to LinkedIn and getting access, and it actually worked. So here it is, a couple weeks later, and I don't know if I am or not, but I believe I'm streaming live on LinkedIn. So hopefully I am. So if anybody's watching, and you know, you can drop a comment on there. I won't be able to see it just yet because I haven't figured that out. Since this is day one, first one doing this. So if you're new to the show, everybody, let me just give you a little bit of intro about what I do. I have on guests who I call creative souls, and everybody has a part of creativity in them. So if you're like any kind of life coach, if you're any kind of career coach, a writer, an artist, a painter, a singer, gosh, you name it. You can find creativity in just about anything and everything. So, that's why I bring on a lot of people who have these attributes about them, because I think everybody has, again, they have a creative spark in them. So I love to express that part about people, and I also like to bring a positive message. So these are a few of the things that I really do concentrate on whenever I bring somebody on, or when I just have a show in general. So sometimes I have guests on, sometimes I do solos, which I don't mind either one. But thank you again for following along. And if you're watching on any of the channels, do us a favor. You can follow along live on our YouTube page, and that is at Made from Scratch Broadcast there. If you're watching there, do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And then you can hit the notification button, and it will let you know when we go live and when new content, new videos, and stuff like that gets uploaded to our channel. So if you're watching there, check us out. If you're watching us on Twitter, you can follow us there at MFSB Live on Twitter as well. We're streaming there through Periscope. I'm also streaming through Facebook on our Facebook page at Made from Scratch Broadcast. And then again, I'm actually broadcasting from my page on. I'm actually streaming on my page on LinkedIn, so hopefully people can see this. And again, I won't know until I watch afterwards and start figuring out another way to go look at comments. Because a lot of people use their phone, but what I do is I do a little bit different with my phone, my cell phone. I stream through my PC, and then I use my phone as a sort of behind-the-scenes sort of thing that I use for Instagram. So Instagram's watching. If people watching, they get to see me just talking, that sort of thing. It might be boring. Who knows? I don't watch it. But I do like to interact, because I do get people that come on there sometimes, and they'll connect and that sort of thing. So again, if you're following on Instagram, it's at Made from Scratch Broadcast as well. And then I do upload a lot of the past episodes and that sort of thing to my Instagram TV. So you can watch it there. You can go to YouTube, watch past episodes, that sort of thing. So I do try to include most of my channels when I'm doing that. So thank you again for following along. Thank you guys if you're watching this evening. So let me start about talking about tonight's guest. So I've been trying to get her on for a while, and luckily now tonight we're going to get the chance to connect. But my guest this evening is her. She is a woman whose background is in the technical field, and she works for a really big company. You might have heard of them called Microsoft. But she's worked hard, and she's also a speaker. She talks about diversity and inclusion. She's a big advocate of that, and again, she works really hard in the field in what she does in her career. But one of the things that also interests me about tonight's guest, she's an abstract artist, and this is why I say everybody has their creativity aspect to them, which is pretty awesome. So, guys, without any further ado, let me welcome Harpreet to the show. Hey, Harpreet, how are you doing?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to talking with you.
Yes, so this has been interesting. We've been trying to plan this for a while, but we're finally here. We're finally getting the chance to do this. So I already have people commenting now. So my friend Brian Schulman here is saying,
I love Brian.
yes, he's an awesome guy, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, he's a big supporter of a lot of things. Yeah, so you can come see all the stuff that I'm doing on LinkedIn Live now. Yes, so I've worked really hard to try to get this, and I'm gonna use this platform now because I have a lot of people that do follow me on LinkedIn. So, and again, you get great people, you get to meet great people like Brian. That he's one of the first ones that really like pumped me up about getting on LinkedIn and seeing him do his thing. So thank you for joining along, Brian. I appreciate it, brother, man. Much love to you. So let's go ahead and start talking about you, Harpreet, because you have an interesting story as well. So let me start with the first question that I wanted to ask you about. Just give us a little brief description about kind of like who you are as a person. Then we'll start talking about your career and that sort of thing. So, what are some of the things that you love to do in life?
Well, first of all, you never asked me to prep for this.
Yeah.
So here you go. You're going to get raw, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get everything raw. So,
That I love that though.
yeah. So repeat your question, I guess.
Okay, so just kind of tell me like a little bit about yourself for those of who might be watching this evening who aren't unfamiliar with you. So I guess a little bit about your backstory is what I'm asking, to kind of tell me about how you actually got into the technical field and how you got to Microsoft.
Yeah, so let me start by saying, who am I, right? Who
Yeah.
is Harpreet? Harpreet is actually a mom of two, and a techie. She's also an abstract artist, and she is a speaker as well. So people ask me, how do you do it all? So we'll talk about that story. Anyway,
Yeah.
coming to that, my backstory, frankly, I come from a very, I would say, middle class family back from India. Really hard workers. My parents, I love them. Very hard workers, but at the same time, resources were limited. Growing up, right? So, and frankly, as a woman or a girl back home in India that time, most of the time we were, I would say my parents said me this, but most of the time society was like, they're of marriageable age, get them married, and then when they figure out what they're going to do with their free time. Right? My father on the other side, he retired from army, and, always wanted his daughters to achieve something, where they can be as equal as men in that society. So he
Yeah.
always pushed, for us to have a really good education. But at the same time, I would say the society was always like, the girls can either become teacher. I have utmost respect for teachers. I love teachers, right? Or they can be doctors, but technology was never like something, engineering was never something like which was put, asked for girls, or they said, oh my God, the girl is an engineer. What?
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I was always good in education, but frankly, I always tell about my story that for the first 25 years, I lived with the Blendin syndrome. I lived with the syndrome of that I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for that acceptance from society. I'm always looking for that, you know, what is that is gonna make me stand out.
Yeah.
Right. And so I actually wanted to become a doctor because, watching all those doctor shows early in those days, I thought they could cure what I had got in my body and in my
Yeah.
mind. Because I felt like I was not beautiful enough. I felt like my siblings have a really lighter skin than what I was. I didn't look like them or anything. My personality type was totally different than them, and so it was always like, Harpreet was always looking for that attention.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I would say I worked really. I actually flunked the exams for my doctor like entrance exam. That is why I didn't become a doctor. Somehow I got introduced to computers, and guess what? I had to work really, really hard because, like as I'm going through, my son is a freshman. As I'm going through the high school curriculum here, it's
Yeah.
very different than from what I had done in India. There were literally different streams, so it was really hard for me to jump into from science to computers, right? But I really worked hard to get into bachelor's of computers, and I did masters of computers as well. And guess what? I don't know what they call it here, but I was the gold medalist. I was the topmost of my
Oh,
university.
wow.
So, but I had to work really, really hard. But frankly, still in my 20s and in my 30s, I lived with that syndrome of that I need to be competitive. I need to. So I kept working hard to be on the technology side and always knowing more and more. But it wasn't until my like 10 years back when everything changed. And you probably feel like, oh, Harpreet is bold and brave. I wasn't that. I was always trying to hide. I was
Yeah.
always trying to hide in the sense not hiding in the sense of I wasn't being me.
Yeah.
What you see right now is what Harpreet is inside out. This is who I am. It took me a lot of time to figure out who I am, and authenticity is something which you kind of, as you grow through the life and the ups and the downs, you figure yourself out. And this is who I am right now. And if you ask me, Harpreet, have you figured it out? No, I'm still on the journey.
Yeah.
That's the backstory. How I
Yeah.
and
So
uh, yeah.
I think that's good. It's a really good story, and I think when you're speaking, a lot of us still haven't figured it out. So you're part of the majority of everybody that's probably living their lives right now. So I'm pretty sure you ask a lot of people, even now, who seem like they have everything put together. If you ask them, hey, how did you get it all figured out? They'd probably tell you, I don't have it figured out. I'm still
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah. If somebody asks me, do you have it all? I'm like, nope. And there's some people ask me, how do you do all these side hustles? I'm like, you gotta find your energy and your passion, right? And then keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
Am I a famous celebrity and am I getting all the talks? Am I being the best artist? No, but I'm on a journey, right?
Yeah.
All on a journey. Same with Microsoft, right? Like I love the flexibility. I love what I'm doing there, but am I there yet? Like, as a woman leader, I'm always looking for how I can grow myself to be a better and better leader.
Yeah, so that's one of the things too that you do. You do speaking engagements, and you do speak to groups of women about growing in the field of technology and just in professionals and entrepreneurs like that. So, what are some of the things that you talk about whenever you do one of these speeches, and what are the things that you like to share that kind of spreads your message to these other women who are looking for some kind of leaders to help them grow as well.
So there are a few which I talk about. One of the key is obviously my own life story, and then how which we kind of very briefly
Briefly
touched
touch.
on. So why blend in when you're born to stand out? Yes, I do stand out. People look at me and they're like, okay, what's on her head, right? This is my turban,
Yeah.
right? It's part of my faith, but at the same time, it identifies who I am.
Yeah.
right? It comes with a lot of responsibility, right? And so, yes, I stand out, but it's not only that I'm standing out physically, I'm standing out from the work I do, right? What I bring to the table, be it Microsoft, be it in my artist side hustle, or be it in my speaking side hustle. So that's one I talk about why blended when you're born to stand out. The other one is navigating from rejections. We all talk about
Yeah.
um, we also talk about how to be a successful person, how to do best, how to get there, right? But
Yeah.
what happens when we have the downward turn?
Yeah.
Right. And frankly, if people look at me right now, they'll say, "Oh, yeah, she is a successful woman." But no, it took me so much of energy, and it took me so much of vulnerability and downward turn to be here.
Yeah.
I was at my rock bottom, and there were multiple other big companies who rejected me. Loss for them, right? I
Yeah.
say it right now, right? Like loss for them, but you know what? Somebody saw the what I bring to the table and took
Yeah.
notice, and I'm here, right? But so I talk about navigating from rejection. So why blended when you're born to stand out? Navigating from rejections, where I have multiple, of my mentor stories, sponsor stories, my stories, and we put it together in a framework. And then I also talk about career branding, right? Like that is something which is very unique to everybody. You know,
Yeah.
every person is unique. Your career is different than mine. My career is different than somebody else. Each one of
Yeah.
us has a unique career ladder. For some it's lateral, for some it's Skype rocketing, for some it's like slow, right?
Yeah.
What is the brand you want to call it, right? And
Yeah.
then connected to that is the legacy part. Um, and then I'm always looking to give back to community, right? So if you ask me, Harpreet, if somebody asks me, what are yes, those are my key topics, but I'm always looking for giving back, because I feel like if I can impact even one or two person in this life, I feel like my life is done, right? Like
Yeah.
leaving behind some legacy where if people say a brown girl looking different,
Yeah.
they give me a lot of adjectives. I've heard many adjectives for myself which actually have walked me down. No longer that, right? I'm like, bad for you, good for you, anyways, I'm going to move on, right? So if I can tell my story and bring two people along, that's about it, right?
Yeah. And that's the beautiful part, right? Is you get to share, and your story has value, and somebody's going to hear it, and that's going to inspire somebody, and that's going to touch somebody. That's why I say keep sharing these stories. Everybody's got an interesting story. Everybody has something to add, and
Yeah.
there's somebody somewhere looking for their story that's very similar to yours, and they're thinking, God, if she can do it, I can do it. There's and that's what's incredible, that you say that if you're just helping one person, and I think that's the key to it all. It's
Yeah.
just helping one person.
I'm done hiding. I've hidden myself for close to 25, 28 years. No longer that. I don't know how much life each one of us has on this earth. So why not give back? Right? One of the time, actually, one of my previous managers, I'm not going to name the person, but the person asked me, "How do you find time? Are you
Yeah,
sure that you're getting your work done?" I'm like, let's talk about that, right? It's not about the quantity of the work, it's about the quality of the work.
yeah,
And how I manage my time is my thing. For me, standing up for myself and giving the best I can, being authentic and bringing my whole self to work is key, right?
yeah,
How do I find time to mentor? How do I find time to coach? How do I find time to do my artist work? How do I find time to do my speaking? I really need your support. If you're not ready to support me, that's the passion. That's the things which bring more passion in me to do the best in my company as well, right?
yeah,
So those are the things which I feel like are me,
yeah. So
right? I cannot
yeah,
just do one thing.
yeah. So that's an interesting thing. So um, since you do have a very active career, but you're also a creative person as well. So how did you actually get started in painting, and what was the inspiration about wanting to do that? Because I love the fact that you do that. That's a part of who Harpreet is. Is that it goes beyond just your career. That you also have this other passion that you love to really put yourself into and share. So tell me a little bit about that as well.
So I used to act, I was a very, my mom used to say that you were a very creative person. I never, and I always used to scribble. And, if I would have, I would be in a college lecture or in class, I would just scribble. And I used to paint a lot when I was growing up, but then,
Yeah.
life happened.
Yeah.
Life happened.
That happens to all of us.
Right, and so I actually recently got into back into painting for different reasons. If I have to be very open and candid, right, I had some health issues,
Yeah.
which I had to literally take time off from my work as well. And then over time, in your professional life also, you meet people. I've been blessed with really great managers. Then I have,
Yeah.
let me just say it, I have been lucky enough to have really crappy managers as well. Say the way I said it, I have been very lucky. I
Yes.
have those crappy and toxic managers who, because I learned the most from them, right? And
Yeah.
because I had to make sure that I put my energy in something positive, I came back to painting. And so
Oh.
if you look at it, so my, people who are here watching us, HK Abstract at Art is my Instagram handle.
Instagram.
Yeah, so Instagram handle HK Abstract Art. And most of my paintings, if you will see, they have emotions to it,
Yeah.
right? Depends upon the what am I feeling that day. If I'm painting a really colorful landscape, that means I have, there is color in life, right?
Yeah.
I know that there is one painting. If you guys want to check it out, there is one painting which is a pretty big painting. It's all gray abstract, and then it's got some red in it. And that was the day I got a rejection from a really big company for a really big role, which I was really thinking I would get. I didn't get it. That's okay, right? I had to get my emotions out. That Harpreet, it's all gray, but at the same time, the way I added the red, that you got it. You got so the way I say it is, it's my way of showing. It's my way of getting that creativity, what's in my head, because you have to get it out of here. Be so that it doesn't impact my mental health. And that's my way, that's my vehicle. And guess what, as soon as I started there, I started getting commissions, I started getting people asking me to make paintings for them. I never thought I was good enough, but guess what, I am probably.
Yes.
Right.
So what I'm about to do, I'm pulling it up so people can kind of see it.
So
So
this is not the one which I was talking about, but
oh
let's talk about this. So if
yes.
you do you see this, this is actually 30 by 40, 30 by 40, so it's pretty big, and it's my family. So do you see, so that's my husband, myself, my son, and my daughter, and all of us. So if you see the red thing on their head, that's their turbans, red
Yeah.
turbans, and me and my daughter are wearing red dresses but black turbans. So this is
Oh
our family in a jungle. And
wow.
the reason I made this I think that this is a month or so old only. This is not too old. And it's actually, I put it on my husband. We couldn't get it framed because of this COVID situation. But
Yeah.
the reason I made this, or the day I made this, because I knew that we are going to be as a family together. This situation, this unprecedented times we are in, we have to live together. We have to be there for each other, right?
Yeah.
So if you see it, it's like a jungle, right? And we are alone in it, but we're together. We've
You
got
have yeah, so guys, you need to check this out. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put your Instagram in the comments so everybody can see, but you have a lot of interesting work on here and you can see what you're talking about. You can see a lot of the emotion.
yeah.
You can
So
almost feel it when you're looking at the pictures.
yeah, and it's got a story. It's each picture's got a story behind it. The one which I made. I don't know if you saw the kind of like a Microsoft logo, but an abstract version of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me see.
I think if you have to go out. So the blue one, if you see the blue one, that's like killing the waste, right? That I was the thing I was thinking in my head was that life is a weight, right? And it can be up. People say, one of the things which I wanted to talk about with this was, people say life is a sprint. Life is not a sprint; it's a marathon. I
Yeah.
actually would totally, in my head, I think life is an ocean, and you're hit with waves. And anytime you're hit with a wave, and your sandcastle or any castle which you have, it breaks. Guess what? Don't feel bad. Just keep building your sandcastle higher and higher, and keep dreaming big, and you will figure it out.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's,
so that was my version of this one. So I have many versions.
gosh, you do. You have a lot on here, and that's pretty interesting.
Interestingly enough, I don't have. Let me show you what I have, a bigger version of this which I have been working on. It's not yet. You see it? Oh no.
There you go. Look at that.
I have been working on this one. This is not yet greased, or this is not yet. I haven't put raisin on top of this, so it's been sitting here from many days. Now that you put it, I'm like, okay, I got to work homework.
Yeah. But that's awesome though that you have that. You can go check that out, and you can see her work on Instagram if you go check
Yeah.
out. That's incredible though. So but that's what I love, right? So not only do you share your life story, not only do you go speak to people out there about leadership, but you also talk about diversity and inclusion as well, don't you? That's one of the things that you're an advocate for.
Yes, yes, and I'll be very honest. Diversity and inclusion these days are just looked at. Okay, it's we got to hire more women. I feel like diversity. It's the diversity of thought, right?
Yeah,
We definitely, definitely need more women in technology in all the industries, right? Technology is obviously behind, but we need women in all the industries, more women in all the industries, and but it's the diversity of backgrounds, it's the diversity of thought, it's the diversity of where you have been brought up of, right? Different faiths. So we have to go beyond just color, and we have to go beyond just gender. It's the diverse perspectives as well. So when I talk about diversity and inclusion, I talk about, if you ask me, Harpreet, if I have five team members who are all same gender,
yeah,
I can still have a diverse team, because if they are from different countries, they have different backgrounds, they are coming from different, upbringings. Because guess what? The culture, the education, everything, makes you who you are, right? So definitely, I am all in to get more, girls in STEM. I'm all in to get more women in technology, women in all the fields. But it's much more than that too, right? What would when I use my own example.
yeah,
Call me, I'm a diverse candidate, yes, but at the same time, there are multiple things about me. I'm as American as other person can be, right?
yeah,
I've been here for long, right? And then, but at the same time, the way my upbringing, right? How I have ventured into where I am right now, those are different than whoever was born here and brought up here. I was not, right? I'm a first generation immigrant here.
yeah. And again, uh, when you're sitting here talking about all the things that you already do and that you share, it's incredible that each one of them adds a different aspect to who Harpreet is. So,
Yeah,
so you're like really complex when it comes to not only just talking about diversity and inclusion, then you talk about women in tech and empowerment, and then you're also an artist. Those are all three separate things that bring up and make which I find interesting because a lot of people don't have that, aren't as multifaceted when it comes to something like that. So that's pretty
but at
awesome
the
that,
same
that you do
time,
that.
At the same time, we are missing out the biggest thing. I'm a mom and a
Mom,
wife.
yeah, that's right. That's don't forget that, because that's a look, and that's the next question. So, because that's one of the things that I've been asking everybody. So, how have you had to adjust to life right now with everything that's gone on and all the stuff that's changed in the work environment and just living life? So, what are some of the things that you've had to adjust to, and how are you finding ways to be more productive while all this is going on?
First of all, I'm blessed and humbled to have job, right? I know there are so many people who are without jobs, or I'm a pretty big advocate for Microsoft internships and new hires and all. Thank God our company hasn't canceled anything. We are going virtual, but I know there are many companies who were not able to do that and they've canceled, and there are a lot of people out there who are without jobs at this point. So I want to say it to them that keep, there is always something next. Maybe
Yeah,
take this downtime to look for how you can either upskill your skills, start looking for a side hustle, build on your business plan which you were trying to find time for.
yeah,
Right? And then coming back to Harpreet, how that has impacted Harpreet,
yeah,
frankly, again, super blessed to have technology and to be working from home.
yeah,
I actually, again, with two kids,
yeah,
one freshman and one second grader,
yeah,
and I actually literally had to tell my second grader and request my husband that please make sure that she doesn't barge in. um, and he's like, okay, okay, but I'm on one call too, and I'm like,
yeah,
hubby,
yeah,
right? So, frankly, we are very open and handed.
yeah,
With each other. My kids have been really adjusting. They do have online schools, but frankly, it's not. Let's be honest, it's not the same as I would forget about them. I said
yeah,
we do have to give them, make sure that they are having their breakfast, lunch.
yes,
Dinner ready. We have to make sure that they're taking shower at least.
yeah,
You get so busy in work, and I'm like, girl, did you take shower? And she's like, 2 days back. I'm like, excuse me. Right? so so frankly, are you wearing the same shirt? And they're like, yes, mom. My older one, the girl,
yeah,
right? So things have changed, right?
yeah,
And I joke with my team that everybody has met my little one, because she will
yeah,
imagine and she'll talk. So we at work have also gone a little flexible, that it's okay. Sometimes, like today, frankly, I will tell you how it has changed my work. I actually posted on LinkedIn as well. Yesterday night, I was working till 1:30 in the morning,
yeah,
my work thing, and I love my team, so I don't, it's not about,
yeah,
some days I will just take a day off, and some days
yeah,
I'm working 12 to 40 hours. It's fine, right?
yeah,
I love the work I'm doing. So, but today I was literally dozing off. So guess what, just before our podcast I took a nap. From
yeah,
3 to 4 I took a nap, and I told my son, hey son, can you give me a cup of coffee at 4:10, because I have to make sure I wrap everything up, and he was
yeah.
getting a good t-shirt out because I'm gonna be tired. And he's like, mom, but you're wearing pajamas. I'm like, it's okay to wear pajamas, nobody's gonna see the pajamas. So frankly, I'm wearing pajamas, and I'm dressed up from waist up.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. That's my theory, to be always looking good waist up.
There you go, right?
Right, and always in my night suit pajamas or paint. I actually posted another picture on LinkedIn, which like I was wearing the pajamas of full of paint. So this is my artist time pajamas.
Yeah,
But that's what it is. So and the life has changed in a way that obviously we are a little more flexible.
yeah,
I'm flexible with my team as well. We are doing virtual, everything virtual. My husband also, he's also in tech industry, and he's also a tech leader. So he's also on calls all day, which makes it really difficult. The kids are on their own. They're
yeah,
watching a bit of TV. They're playing a lot of Xbox. But guess what? I'm not that kind. We both are not that kind of parents that if they watch, a lot of TV or a lot of Xbox, it's okay. I'm giving
yeah,
break as well. It's fine. 6 months is not gonna define their whole life. It's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And the,
That's a
the
good way to say it,
yeah,
right? So, I mean, and this is just a small blip in the road. Um, and again, it's not like you said. It's not going to define their whole career for 6 months or even a year. It's not going to define who they are when they get older. And it's something again. It's just everybody's all having to find a way to, because I'm going through the same thing. I got four of them. So my wife is like, she's like right now she's in her taskmaster mode where she has to be on top of, hey, come on, let's go. You guys are, these two, you need to be on the computer right now. These two, go ahead and do whatever you want to go do. Then it's, hey, let's get bath time. And then it's, we're going to wash clothes. So I come home and I try to help her out as much as I possibly can because I understand it's a lot of work.
it is. So my little one, she yesterday she was saying me that, Mom, I'm not gonna sleep. So their sleep time, little one, right, 7 year
Yeah.
old. She generally is like 8:30, not beyond that. That's probably also late for a few of my friends. They're like,
Yeah.
you let her sleep till she doesn't sleep till 8:30. She should be going to sleep at 7. I'm like, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of, there are times when I feel like I'm a really crappy mom, but then I take it back and I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Give myself a little break as well. But this is the time they're also building that resilience. We all
Yeah.
are building that resilience, right? So it's okay if she's sleeping late. My son used to get up at 5 because he had to catch the bus at 6.
Yeah.
Sometimes if he's sleeping till 9, I don't say him anything. But yes, obviously, I'm hoping that we get out of the situation sooner so we can go into normalcy. But life happens, right? When life gives you lemons, keep making lemonade as much as
Yeah.
yeah,
There you go. I love that. That's
yeah.
and again, that's what I try to tell people, have that kind of positive attitude, right? Because it's being in a negative state of mind is not going to change the environment around us. It's not going to change the situation that's going on, and I feel that just makes things worse. So I love that you have that attitude and that you're learning that you're able to adjust. That's I still find people that are having a hard time trying to adjust to what's going on right now. It's still in some people's minds. It's still not a reality. So
I think just count your blessings, right? Like,
yeah,
I tell my kids, and obviously there are a lot of tantrums sometimes that we're not going to eat this, we're not going to eat this, can you make us that? Can you make it? And I'm the same way because frankly, at my home, my husband likes to cook and he does. And I, on the other hand, I will cook if needed.
yeah,
Right? But then the reason I tell them is be humble, right? We have roof on our head. We have food to eat. There are folks who, because they, if you're a daily worker or whatever, right? They don't even have food to eat.
no,
So aren't we so blessed, right? That we have a home to live, we have food to eat, and
yeah,
we're doing different things, right? To try out. So count your blessings, right?
yeah,
Like be humble, give back. I think if you have something, so in my faith, I'm not talking too much about that, but at the same time, you do have to give your 10% of your earnings back to the community. And
yeah,
something which we take it pretty serious, not seriously, but at the same time, it's not just my faith only, right? Like
yeah,
wherever you feel like you want to, and you see somebody in need, please do give back.
yeah,
And it can be in way of financial help. It can be way of, like as we're doing it, right?
yeah,
Coaching. It can be way of lifting each other up, right? Whichever way you can.
yeah.
This is the time we have to look beyond our backgrounds and faith, our color, or whatever we want to, right? Call it, and come together as a society. This
Yeah.
is the time,
Yeah,
right?
because this because essentially this virus is not. It doesn't look at race. It doesn't look at gender. It doesn't look at creed. It doesn't look at money. It is it is taking anybody and everybody. Lives are being lost. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if were a different religion. It doesn't matter all that stuff. So it's the same way that's how we have to help each other and fight this thing and
Yeah.
fight the people. It's the same sort of way. So we have to look past all that and just extend a hand and help somebody. Give them if somebody's in need. Um, Offer resources. Look for things, ways that you can share. If you are say you can't help financially, there are other things that you can do. Like you said, you can reach out to somebody. You can, hey, look, I know that you don't have a job right now. Look, I found a couple places that are hiring. Look, check them out. See what you might,
Yeah.
just any kind of way to help somebody out because this is a very difficult time that a lot of people are going through.
It's interesting you say that because there's so many fresh graduates. There's so many early to career people who are reaching out, even though I can't connect them to because obviously this year Microsoft is complete, but at the same time there are many other companies. And with my platform, if I can connect them with different people or even send them the link, hey, I saw this, that's about it. I can do whatever, use the platforms which are there for you to help each other, right? And then again, be grateful for all the big things, for all the small things, and everything in between,
Yeah.
right?
And again, this is why what I do here on my show. That's why I bring on people kind of like yourself who have the ability to do that, who have a story like that to share, who can go out and say, hey, guys, if you aren't connected with Harpreet, go check her out. She's on LinkedIn. She's on Instagram. I put her links there in the show notes as well. If you might have a question about tech or something that you might say, hey, I know that you guys aren't hiring, but what would you recommend if I were looking for a job somewhere else at another company? What are some? I'm pretty sure she might be able to. If she can't answer it herself, she might be able to lead you to somebody who can answer the right questions for you. So,
Yeah.
you
For
know,
sure, and this is where I get so many of LinkedIn messages. There are times when I try to give, individually respond. And if I feel like I'm getting kind of, 10 people are kind of reaching for the same thing, I'll make a post out of it.
yeah,
And
you go.
I've got a lot of questions about this. Go, these are the resources, go check them out, right? So I try to do as much as I can. With what resources we have to, right? Like otherwise, who's gonna even remember me?
Yeah,
The other day, let me give a quick shout out to there was Charles. I forgot about I had forgotten about Charles at all, right? And this kid, I know that I had interviewed him a few months back for Microsoft. There was an internship position, explorer internship. He didn't get that, but when he posted, I just was so humbled that he wrote that Harpreet said,
yeah,
"Don't worry about the outcome, keep going," in a LinkedIn post. And I'm like, oh my God, Charles. And guess what? You know, our loss, but you know what? He got into Google.
yeah. There
Okay,
you.
there you go, right? Like, but he also wants to come back to Microsoft. So I'm like, and he's going to work hard and, but from one big company to another. So, but at the same time, I'm just so blessed that he remembered what I said to him.
Yeah.
That's something which I'm like, oh my God, that was something, right? Like I
Yes.
never thought I would meet him again. I never thought I would, he would even mention that. And then he pinged me other day on LinkedIn. He said, "Ma'am, I wanted to tell you, but I have been too shy that I got into Google." And I'm like, excuse me, that's great. Congratulations. Keep going, right? And I
Yeah.
he should write about it. And I didn't tell him to write about me, but I asked him to write about like that he got into Google. But then he tagged me, and I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that made my day because frankly, the day before that I was out sick, and so that made my day. Small
Yeah.
things,
And
right?
it's that again.
Small
It's that one person, right? It's that one person that you just need to connect with, and that
yeah,
one person that you can help. And that's again, that's what's so incredible about what we're doing,
yeah,
and about being on LinkedIn. That's why I said LinkedIn has it's not just like what people used to think, and I still have to tell people this. It's not like to go there just for business. There's so much more behind it now. So you can actually make connections. You can actually reach out to people. And again, let me give out the shout out real quick to my co-host for the last 2 days, Mike Padurano, because he was the one that connected us. And
Mike.
yes, and
Mike, yes.
yes, and he was the one that was he'd put a comment on there earlier. So thank you, brother. I do appreciate it. Me and him were actually on last night for almost 2 hours.
So I hope Mike is doing well. I just,
Oh,
I love his energy. I love, that how he remains positive
yes.
with all the stuff which is going around, as well as
Yeah. So yeah,
right. So I'm so again humbled.
humbled, right? You're like, thank you, because again, it's a great way. I get more feeling out of helping people out, and even when Mike does something like this, I'm like, thank you, brother. I do appreciate it. I feel like you. I feel humbled that people would even think about wanting to. First of all, that's why I tell everybody when they come on. I tell everybody thank you, all the gratitude in the world, because I do enjoy having these conversations. I do enjoy bringing people to my platform and sharing this forum with them, because again, everybody has something to add. So that's why I always thank anybody and everybody that comes on. And I feel humbled that even you come on and sharing your story with me, because again, it's something that helps me. I take a little piece of everything that everybody that I have on, and it helps me develop. So I've actually been writing notes about every guest in my own little book, and this is just for me to keep, because everybody brings something that's really important that I take from it, and
You should publish that book, man. I will read your book. Yay!
no, I don't want. I should at some point, but I really do. I like to go back and I'll watch the video again afterwards, and I take little nuggets of information or little things that people share, and I go, that's incredible. I need to.
So I'm gonna say something. So your dream big. You're gonna publish the book. Harpreet's gonna be in it. See, right?
See,
You can publish the book.
and since I'm a writer, right, and I'm already gonna have one book published here at the end of the month. I've been telling everybody it's coming, it's coming. Just wait, please, promise, it's coming. And then I had to started writing a second book, but now thinking about what you just said, and that's an idea that I haven't even thought about, was taking a lot of these small notes that I'm taking from all these interviews and putting them together and sharing it. That's great.
So let me give a shot. So I don't know how can I show you. So here is let me show you my this is my very kind of minimalistic desk, but I always keep the books which I've been reading.
Yeah,
Um,
look at
uh,
that.
on that note, let me, what I just said to you, giving a shout out to Michaela Kiner. This is a book which she was actually an ex-Microsoft an HR director, and I got this book. I've been reading it, and it's the same thing. She interviewed 13 women leaders, and
Wow.
she got those quotes, she got their stories, and published it into a book. So why, if she can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's a good idea. I never thought about that. Um, you know, and me, I was taking down this information because I said, here's one of the things. If I have all these people on and they all have incredible stories and they all bring something valuable to the table, why am I not using this information for myself? So that's why I started doing it in the first place. I've always journaled. I've journaled for a very long time. But I started taking down all this information and all these notes, and I take down like small little, and I write down a date, my guest, and one of the things that I take away from it, and that I said, you know what, this is something that I love about what they said and what they have on,
Yeah.
and I never, that never crossed my mind. But thank you for telling me about that, Harpreet, because now
Yeah.
if I do come out with a book, I'm gonna have you. You know what? I'm gonna have you write the foreword to it. So you're gonna have.
say that. I would love to do your forward. And, that is something which is in my mind as well, because every time I get on the stage and tell my story, people say, we would love to have it written so we can keep it going. The reason, and it's interesting that so many people says, can you send us the video? And I'm like, they didn't record it for copyright reasons. They don't, because if you are repeating yourself the same story, they want to make sure that the new people hear it and it doesn't become like so I'm talking about my company here.
Yeah.
Not outside. Outside, I've spoken as well. But again, be the risk taker, man, right?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good. I love that. And
Yeah,
something. I again, this is something that I take away from every single guest that I have on, and that's why I
yeah.
love doing this. So, all right, guys, real quick, before we go, I always ask this question about all my guests, and this is I don't even say it is morbid anymore, but I just say it as what is something that you, when your time on earth is done, what is what's something that you want to be remembered for, that that you can share to the world once you're gone, and everybody will say, this is what I remember about Harpreet.
So, frankly, this is what I started with, right? I had been living with this, that I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do this job. I can't take this bigger job than myself. I can't do this at home. I can't, whatever. I, for to what now it has changed that I can do whatever. And, people say it's not possible. Everything is possible, right? And my legacy, I feel like to be remembered. She was a giver. Whatever
Yeah,
she
there you go.
what, whatever she had, she was able to give back, right? And she looked beyond color. She looked beyond everything. I have more friends who are I have more American friends, let's just say it, right? From that, and I have more friends from diverse perspective rather than on my own community. Uh,
Yeah,
not that I love it, but at the same time, I feel like I can relate to anybody, right? At
yeah,
this point, and I could tell my story in a way where people say, okay, she has something to give. So I should be, I feel like remembered as hopefully as a good mom and a wife.
yeah.
I've
You
been married
will.
17 plus years, so and we never saw each other before. That's another story for another day. So
Yeah.
we never saw each other before marriage,
Wow.
right? But so lucky to have a life partner who pushes me, who brings me along, and
Beautiful.
to be remembered as a loving mom, as a loving wife, as well as a giver to this community.
That's beautiful. I love that answer. That's a good, and that's where sometimes I get to hear a lot of good wisdom that comes out of that question when I ask people
Yeah,
about that sort of thing. Because again, it's something that it's something that we will all face at some point in life. So that's why I usually ask that question. So thank you, Harpreet. And guess what? This goes by so fast, and you don't even realize it. We've almost been on for an hour, and
is it?
yes.
So it's
We are at 55 minutes already. It's going to be an hour, and that's why I say when I tell somebody, they come on and say, "Look, it's going to be probably the fastest hour that you're going to fill, and you won't even know it."
And I remember I said, what, an hour or more than that? I'm like, oh, what am I going to be speaking? So, interestingly enough, when you say that, I don't know what, so at work, you know, people ask me if you would have asked me the same thing for work. Most of the leaders say me, I'm a chaos wrangler.
Yeah,
It's interesting, chaos
yeah,
and wrangler, like I'm a chaos wrangler because there is always chaos and I'm always able to unwrangle it and
yeah,
clarity and a connective glue
yeah.
and a servant leader, frankly.
So, guys, if you guys have not connected with her, you can check her out on LinkedIn.
Yes,
Um,
please
send
try to
send
connect.
send her a message if you have any kind of questions or something that you might be looking for answers about it that have to deal with technology, finding a career, or if you're starting your career in the technological field, or any kind of questions that dealing with, if you're like a woman who's seeking help and wanting to learn about empowerment, any of those questions, she's more than qualified to help you. And again, if not, I'm pretty sure she can help you connect with somebody who can. So real quick, guys, thank you very much for hopping on the show this evening. Thank you, Harpreet, for coming on and sharing
You're
this
so
beautiful, this
welcome.
wonderful conversation with me. And again, here we are. It's already been an hour, and guess what? This was my first LinkedIn Live. You were my first LinkedIn Live guest, so I'll always remember that as well. So,
That's
thank
great.
Thank you very much. You can always go check it out as well. Okay, guys, before I end the show, just a quick reminder tomorrow night, we'll be back at 7 o'clock. My guest will be Jennifer Klein, and if you haven't checked her out, her story is interesting as well. You can check her out on her TikTok page and at Miss DeWalt, I think is what it is. But I'll share it in there as well. Her story, again, and I love bringing people. I have a tendency to lean a lot towards women because I'm raising 4 daughters, and I love to bring examples and empowerment and that sort of thing to light because my daughters are going to grow up in this world, and I want them to be able to see at some point. That's what my dad. That was part of what my legacy. When I ask everybody,
Yeah.
that's part of what I want to share too as well. That say, hey, look, I think that it shouldn't it shouldn't matter about gender, um, man or woman. You ought to be able to do whatever you want, your heart desires.
Whatever you want, and that's the same thing. My daughter, she actually wanted to be on the she wants to be on the Ellen show, and she actually did paint something, and I posted about that on the Instagram too. So raising girls, and I'm raising both. I'm raising a boy and I'm
Yeah.
raising a girl, right? Both of them, right? Respect each other and be brave, be bold, right?
Yes.
Each one of you is unique, each one of you is beautiful, right? If anybody says you're not worth it, you are worth it, right?
Yes.
Believe in that and just keep going, right? Find that tenacity, find that resilience, and keep going. If somebody says you can't do this, say them, okay, thank you. Listen from one ear, take it out from
Out.
another, and keep going,
There you go.
right? And then each one of you is beautiful. As I said, each one of you have the superpowers. So you just find those superpowers and then just keep going.
There you go, guys. So there's no more wisdom, more nuggets coming from Harpreet. Thank you very much. I appreciated the time. If you hold on a second, I want to have a quick conversation once this is done. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. Thank you everybody for coming on. I'll be back tomorrow, Friday night, 7 o'clock. Oh, quick reminder, quick kind of pub for myself. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I guess would be 9 o'clock here Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. I will be on the Russ Johns private broadcast tomorrow. And this is something I've been working for a while. So we're going to have a good conversation tomorrow as well. He's kind of like my mentor. He kind of helped me get all this started, sort of in a way. So I'm very excited to talk about my show, live streaming, that sort of thing with him tomorrow morning. So quick shout out to Russ. Thank you for having me on the show tomorrow. And I hope to have a good time and able to bring some kind of value to everybody tomorrow. So thank you guys. You have a great evening. I'll see you again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock with my guest, Jennifer Klein. You guys stay safe. Practice good social distancing. Follow your social and order. Stay in. Gosh, I always get that one mixed up. You're you're staying. You're whatever it is. Stay home. Unless you don't have to. So wash your hands, do all that stuff, guys. We'll all get past this together. Remember, this is not going to be a permanent thing. So, guys, be safe. Have fun. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Thank you.